Hi guys, it's Jackie M here, and in this particular series of videos I'm actually going to be demoing how to use my range of curry paste kits. And for this particular one, I want to cover two recipes, one to make eggplant sambal and the other one to make prawn sambal. Both of them use my handcrafted dry sambal belacan kit, and I'm in the video pre-recording I'm going to talk through about 10 minutes long. The assumption is you've already turned this into this, okay, into a wet, like ready to use sambal, which usually is actually used as a dip to condiment, side condiment to go with your noodle or rice dishes. But here we're going to be a little bit creative and demo how to use the these sambals for other dishes. Okay, so just give me a second while I pull this up. I'm just going to hide myself. Okay, so first video, eggplant sambal using my handcrafted dry sambal kit. This is my range, and that was the end result of how it should look. Okay, first of all, we are going to actually just pre-cook the eggplant pieces. There are a few different ways to do this. Right here, I'm actually just heating up some oil, and I'm going to actually lightly fry up the eggplant pieces. With the eggplant, you can slice them, you can cut them into chunks. In this particular video, I've cut them into chunks here. Now, if you're not a big fan of frying or whatever, you don't actually have to fry the eggplant pieces. You can steam them, you can air fry them, you can grill them, or you can actually do a bit of both. Sometimes when I'm cooking eggplant, I do appreciate the fact that eggplant pieces are like little sponges, so they tend to soak up all the oil, and you might end up with too oily a dish. Okay, so a couple of ways to tackle this. Okay, one, to split the difference, lightly fry them in a lot of oil just to make sure that they can cook through properly, and then fish them out, and then finish off the frying, the cooking, in something like an air fryer or a grill or something like that, so that in the air fryer the oil gets pushed out. Okay, that's actually what I do when I'm making stuffed eggplant, like yong tau eggplant, if you know what I mean. So that's one way. Like I said, another way is to just brush these pieces, especially if you cut the pieces instead of into chunks like this, rather in long flat slices along the length of the eggplant. You can cut them out like that, brush them with oil on both sides, and then just grill them under a grill or on one of these cast iron griddle things. Just get some nice patterns. What you want to do then is then set it aside and then cook the sauce separately, and then put the sauce over the sambal instead of tossing it through. Whatever you do, basically the point is make sure that the eggplant does not disintegrate in the sambal sauce. Okay, so I've just lightly cooked this here, and I'm just draining out the oil as well, and I'm going to be actually tossing it back into the sambal later on to finish it off, right? If you find that it's too oily, some people do go to the trouble of actually patting the eggplant pieces down with paper towels. I don't bother with that. Okay, so clear out all the oil in the pan, and then what you want to do, a couple of tablespoons for that amount of eggplant, for that one serve, a couple of tablespoons of the sambal, and I'm adding some garlic here, minced garlic, because I like garlic. You don't actually need to add garlic here, okay? There are some sambal eggplant recipes, including one on my website where you make it from scratch, called terong balado, which is an Indonesian inspired eggplant dish, which doesn't actually use garlic. So don't stress out if you're missing one or two ingredients here or there. Another ingredient that you could use here is dried shrimp. Okay, in fact, in my recipe cookbook, recipe compilation that you can download from my website, I actually mention dried shrimp. Okay, but I'm skipping it here because I appreciate not everyone has dried shrimp sitting in their pantry usually. What I've added here now are tomatoes, canned tomatoes. Now, if you have fresh tomatoes, just dice them up and chuck that in. I'm just trying to keep things easy. I don't have any fresh tomatoes lying around, so I just opened a can of tomatoes and chucked a few of these mini tomatoes in there, toss it through. Okay, the tomatoes really kind of to help give it a little bit of sweetness and also to temper the heat from the sambal. Okay, so my serve of sambal belacan, once cooked up, is really typically used as, like I said, a side condiment where you use a small amount to put on your noodle dish per mouthful. So it's quite intense in flavor and quite a little bit spicy. Yeah. In this particular instance, you don't want the spiciness to overtake the rest of the dish, so you've only used 2 tablespoons. And because you're only using 2 tablespoons, you're adjusting the flavor around it. I've just added a bit of sugar here. It's again fairly optional, and I'm adding some soy sauce. In lieu of the sugar and soy sauce, you can just put a little bit of salt. Okay, if you're going to cut down on sugar, just, you know, leave out the sugar. It's kind of a, you know, nice to have, but not critical. Okay, don't assume that any of the ingredients I'm using here are actually must-haves, right? And then maybe it's nice just to give it a little bit more of a depth of flavor. Add a little bit of a sour note to it, maybe something like a dash of okay, I'm adding a bit of chili, like this is bottled chili sauce, popular in Malaysia and Indonesia. Bottled chili sauce, which is kind of almost like a cross between tomato ketchup and hot chili, okay, and some sugar. Okay, so it's not quite as super sweet like Thai sweet chili, though if you want to use Thai sweet chili you can too, right? It just adds a bit more sweetness and a bit more like interest in the dish. And I've just squirted a couple of dashes of lemon juice in here. You can use lime juice, you can use tamarind if you like, okay, or you can leave it out altogether. It's just the end result here in this particular case is just a nice balance of spicy, sweet and sour. Okay, so you can see the dish over here. That's my eggplant sambal. Now, next dish we're making, chili prawns. Again, using my sambal belacan kit. Okay, now in this particular case, again, I've got a bit of oil in the pan, and I've got some prawns, which off camera, because I forgot to hit record, I've basically peeled and drenched in a bit of tapioca starch. You can use cornstarch, and I'm just basically flash frying it. What this does, it just protects the prawns shape, okay, for when we actually toss them through the sambal. That's how I used to do this at my restaurant. Though at my restaurant I would leave the head and the tail on just to make it look bigger. But if you want to skip this step, you actually can, okay? So you can just peel your prawns and leave them completely raw, and then just cook the sambal and toss it through. It just means that you have to cook the sambal a little bit longer when the prawns are in there, because you need to cook the prawns till they're done, obviously. Now, this recipe is the flavor profile is the same as what you get in Singapore chili crab, Malaysian chili crab, except we're using prawns here, okay? And for that particular recipe, you want garlic and you want ginger. So I've chucked in some ginger slices and some garlic over here, okay? Just want to fry it till it's aromatic. You don't want to burn it, you don't want to brown it or anything like that. You just want to bring out the flavor, and then you add, again, my sambal belacan, okay? So again, just a couple of tablespoons. And by the way, that batch of prawns is actually smaller than the amount of prawns I would usually cook, so it's a little bit off balance here. So you're going to see with the end result, there's actually too much sauce for the amount of prawns that I've cooked. So you can either halve the ingredients of the sambal or slash sauce, or double the amount of prawns we've got here. And remember the tomatoes from the eggplant dish. This is the juices from the tomato, that same can of tomato. Okay, so I've just tucked it in. If you don't have that, no worries, you can actually just use ketchup. Okay, I'm just add a little bit of sugar here. There's a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and just cook it through. And this is what it looks like so far. And if you want a drier sambal, this is actually fine. If you want I've just added a bit of, again, lemon juice. You can use lime juice, you can use tamarind, whatever gives it that slight piquant note. If you want a dry sambal, you can just toss in your prawns down, cook it up, and there you go. That's what it looks like. But what we're trying to recreate here is the Singapore chili prawn dish, okay, which has a little bit more sauce to it. So I've just added a bit of water, and we're going to bring it to a boil again, okay? Now, keep in mind, this is very, very similar, if not identical, to the sambal prawn I used to sell at my restaurants, okay? So the flavor is not compromised in any way, shape, or form. Now, what you want to do now is actually thicken up the sauce, and I'm using tapioca starch here. You can use cornstarch, you can use potato starch, okay? Potato starch is the creme de la creme of the starches, and I've just put a little bit in here, about a teaspoon, and we're gonna add, and the bowl looks the way it does because it originally had the prawns tossed in tapioca starch, okay? So I've just added a couple of, you know, probably about a tablespoon of water here. Just mix it together, pour it in, and you want to simmer it, and it will just start to thicken up very quickly, okay? At this point, you don't want to keep simmering it for like 20 minutes, okay? Because it will lose its starchiness. Once it's thickened, that's it. Turn off the heat, okay? The heat is turned off. Now you're gonna crack a raw egg into the pan, okay? The pan is still hot, the sauce is still hot, but there's no like constant simmering heat here. And what it does is that it's going to create that slurry texture that's so popular among Chinese, Malaysian dishes, okay? Now, I've tossed the prawns in here, but you can actually, at my restaurant, I wouldn't do that. At my restaurant, I would present the fried prawns and then pour the sauce over, but that's the end result, what it should look like. If you've got some coriander, perfect, just put that over it, okay? So that's the download link. Download at, for the recipe book. The download is going to be jackiem.com.au/curry pastes, and it's got a bunch more recipes, and I'm going to be constantly adding more recipes to that collection. So make sure you go download it now and then go back and check, you know, every now and then, and it should have more recipes added to it, okay? And if you've got any questions at all, hit me up. In the meantime, if you want to get your hands on my curry paste, I do ship worldwide. USA is a little bit tricky because of the you know, the shipping, like tariffs and whatever and stuff like that, so I'm still thinking about it, but rest of the world should be good to go. And you can buy these pastes at shop.jackiem.com.au, and I'll see you next time.